Hey guys, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Sonic Colors for the Nintendo Wii. We have now collected every red ring and every S rank, but do we actually get anything for this? S ranks no, but for the red rings, you may have noticed that weird little Sonic shaped thing floating in the corner with the glowing red eyes.
Welcome to Game Man, home of the ever-popular Sonic Simulator. Waste time with your pathetic friends in multiplayer mode.
So this is Eggman's Sonic Simulator. And this is pretty much the multiplayer of the game. I have no idea what 1.5 players is. That sounds like we've either got half a person there or the other person is a dwarf. I don't know. It sounds this is weird. I have no idea what it means. You can change the speed. I don't know why you'd want anything particularly slow. I don't know. All I know is that I completely forgot that I had a bunch of Miis on this thing. I mean, it's the Wii, so it's going to, but I forgot I had made a good chunk of these. So for this part, I thought I'd stick with baseball cap wearing Mario Mii that I really don't remember making, but I guess I did at some point. I don't remember. I know I do have a few random Miis on all three systems, but the Wii, the Wii U, the 3DS, but I really don't remember this. This one, I really don't. Anyway, if you've ever played Sonic 1, then this level design, like that S-shaped tube thing there, may look familiar. This is Green Hill Zone. So, every zone of Sonic 1 has been recreated here. The first act of every zone features somewhere in Game Land. It's only ever the first act, you never see anything else. But I think it's pretty neat. I don't know why they decided to recreate all of Sonic 1's stages. It does make some a bit more faithful to the level design than others, but oh well. Game Land is essentially this game's equivalent of the special stages. Now the DS version does have like proper special stages. Collect 50 rings by the end of a level, and then you'll have the option to go to the special stage. Here, for every 10 red rings you collect, you'll unlock a new stage in Game Land. So right from the beginning you have access to, I think it's Act 1's of stages 1, 2 and 3. But in order to collect everything else, you need 10 red rings per level. So it's a total of 18 you're unlocking. We've seen there's 180 red rings. There you go. And then each, we'll say stage, has 3 acts. And you can tell by the image at the front, the image on the screen, and then whatever colour the background is. It'll tell you which emerald you're actually going to be going after. As with most of Sonic Colors, it is predominantly 2D, if I'm using the word correctly, but every now and then you cut into these 3D sections, and I'll be honest, I hate most of these 3D sections, and it's all because of that heads-up display. So, we now have the timer and your score in the middle of the screen, and as such, when you get to certain 3D sections, you can't actually see where you're going. You also have like these weird special token things that kind of do the same thing as red rings do in the main stage. You just add to your score. You're not ranked for any of this. You're just given a total score at the end. If you're playing in multiplayer, well, from the footage I've seen, it looks like an absolute nightmare. Like, these stages are not for multiplayer. It can lead to all sorts of issues. But when you're using the wisps, you can actually combine the abilities of certain wisps together. I don't know what any of those combinations are, I just know that it is possible to do. So you could probably get like a laser and a drill put together or something, and I don't know if there's any special abilities for using the same wisp. Now I get this, I think this is where I messed up. Yeah, I shouldn't have used it at this time, I should have used this way later. I don't know what I was hoping to achieve there, because I'm going to... The rings don't change into cubes until you hit the ground. This one, on the other hand, I have no idea how you're supposed to get to that. Is it you got to do some sort of very carefully timed jump? If you got to boost and then double jump when you hit the wall? I really don't know. All I know is that it meant that I had to The very long and unrewarding route to now get to the goal ring. Look at all these cubes that I can't obtain. Gameland is not very interesting, I'll be honest. I thought there might be something down there, you never know. I bet one of them does have something down there. But I didn't want to go down to check. Yeah, Gameland's not very interesting. This is pretty much all we've ever seen. Aesthetically, it's very boring. The only thing that ever changes is just the colour of the background every 3 acts. Other than that, you're really not doing anything here. I mean, the DS version had special stages that could be quite long, but at least you're only doing like 1 special stage at a time. I mean, you could do that here, but then what are you going to do in between? You know, unless you decide, I've collected 10 red rings, now let's go over to this special stage. I've collected another 10, let's do the next special stage, and so on. I don't know why you would do it that way, but maybe if you wanted a bit more variety, you can do it that way. You do gain access to the Wisp and everything, well, obviously. And whenever you do, it doesn't play the actual theme of the Wisp itself. It always just plays like a version of Reach for the Stars. I do like how every piece of background music here is an 8-bit remix of the stages from the actual main game. So playing through this, we get an 8-bit remix of Tropical Resort. And then next step, we're going to have an 8-bit remix of Sweet Mountain. I do really like that. There's 7 stages of Sonic Colors, 7 remixes. All the way from Tropical Resort to Terminal Velocity. You can do these in any order you want, I think. I'm not sure. If you can, I guess the Chaos Emerald will just appear whatever the 3rd act you play is. And then you can, when you have a goal ring instead of the Chaos Emerald, you can hit it multiple times to try and get yourself a few rings. I can never seem to do it more than 4 times, so I guess that's just the maximum. Just because of the amount of time you're given. Oh look, I recognise this little hidden passageway. Hello, Marble Zone. Only I'd say that despite how uninteresting Gameland is, this is probably still more exciting than the actual Marble Zone. Because let's say, Sonic 1, you don't really go very fast. Not just because Sonic actually has a speed cap, but also besides Green Hill and Starlight, the other 4 zones are not very fast in Sonic 1. You'd think they'd have us pushing that block over system like you would do in Sonic 1, but apparently not. This is where you'd be chased by the lava. We didn't have that, so we had to come with this instead. But it doesn't have those really annoying spikes that then decide to stop you in place. I've never gotten crushed by them. I've always just ended up getting stopped by them instead. Yeah, I mean, Sonic 1, it's fine, but it's a bit too slow for my liking. It's also one of the harder Sonic games. And to think, the second zone of Sonic 1, according to the level select, was going to be Labyrinth Zone. That's a terrifying prospect. I'd already say Marble Zone is quite a step up in difficulty from Green Hill. The Labyrinth Zone is it's an entirely different thing. I also don't know why you constantly have a little red light hovering around you. I think that would be the second player, but I'm in single player, so why does it even have that little red circle behind me? If there's a way you could switch to it, I probably missed it, because why would I ever want to do that? Hey, this is where you really come to hate the heads-up display, because look, I can't really see what's coming towards me. Like, I'm able to avoid this. There's hammering going on next door, I don't know. There's always some amount of banging or something going on next door. Like, how many hammers do you need? How much hammering do you need to do about that? I messed up here. Is it here or is it... No, it's a bit later on. And there's a point where I can't work out exactly what it is that I did wrong. I don't know if it's in this act or in later on, but wherever it is. See, I can barely even see where I'm supposed to quick step, especially in sections like this where the path is so narrow. It actually kind of reminds me of one of the extra stages in the HD version of Unleashed. think it was for Skyscraper Scamper, Empire City. You had to quick step down these really narrow pathways, I guess is what you call them. It's just a part of the building. That's kind of what it reminds me of. Only in that, you didn't have the heads-up display taking up the middle of the screen. Every time you go through one of those loops, that's where the you're going to switch between 2D and 3D. And this is where I messed up. I go back to get this laser because I couldn't go any further. But then when I go through here, I can't get to that. But there's no other laser wisps around here. What have I done wrong here? Did I need to go in there and collecting all of those rings and that token? Does that make another laser wisp appear? But I still have to use a second wisp in order to get in there. These things are instant death, by the way. Don't get crushed by them. I could have sworn that thing in Starlight Carnival, that massive thing at the end of Act 1, is not instant death, but these things are. I don't get it. Maybe it's just because this is not real Sonic. And there we go. That's our second. Yeah, that would be our second. It's not exactly going to be the third act, is it? We would have gotten the Chaos Emerald. I do like the arcade style approach, but that's sort of then abandoned when you get to here. I mean, this arcade would not be winning that many. This arcade game would not be winning that many awards. This is visually one of the most boring-looking games I've ever seen. I mean, maybe if it was done in the mid. No, well, no, because what 3D effects in arcades they were quite common around the mid 90s, weren't they? It was only in consoles, but we didn't really have a lot. You do not need to do much drilling around here. And there's the end. I mean, you can just drill around and get some colour bonus, but you're not exactly going to get much of it. And then there's these things. I don't know what these things are for. I mean, you can't actually touch them when they're spinning around, but you don't get hurt or anything like that. You just can't stand on them. You can't really touch them. But that's it. Other than that, they don't do anything. So, I don't know. Anyway, these things are used in a lot, and I mean a lot, of these special stages. And I freaking hate them. So Sonic gets hurt if he hits one of these, well, they're from a game of pool. And Sonic gets hurt if he ever comes into contact with one. And they are everywhere. I mean, we saw them in Green Hill Zone Act 1. I don't remember these things in Green Hill. I don't even remember them in Sonic 1. I don't know what the point of these things is either. They'll give you some rings, but only like one per hit. Shut up, world. I don't need your constant knocking. There's our goal. You see, this is... What was the point of that? It just knocks me back. That is literally all it does. You can just stand on it. It doesn't hurt you in any way. There is no purpose to these things. Banana. What would the green one be? A line? Is it a line? Would it be a line? Or Granny Smith? What others are there? Other green fruit. A kiwi. A kiwi. Let's go with that. Nah, that's too dark. Oh, we'll say our line. We got our, if we were to name them all after a fruit, we have our lime kiwi and then our lemon kiwi because bananas aren't fruit. Bananas are herbs. So we have our lemon and lime. And now we have, well, what do you call a grey fruit apart from rotten? I don't know how you would describe this. So now we have Starlight Carnival's music. And unlike the last two, it isn't Act 1 that's actually based off of the Sonic 1 zone. I don't think this is based off of anything. They are done out of order. It doesn't just go Green Hill, Marble, Springyard, Labyrinth, Starlight, Scrap Brain. It's a bit out of order. What is going on back there? All I keep hearing is just the sound of knocking and hammering something in there. I really didn't need to homing attack all of them. Quiet, you. Is this going to just be plaguing the latter half of the video now? The grinding seems to be really slow when you're playing this in Game Land. I don't know why. I mean, there are times where you go really slowly in the main stages and it happened as well, but it seems particularly slow here. I assume this is the only game where if you get 3 Eggman symbols on the slot machine, then you actually get rings, rather than lose rings. A thing that they've been doing since Sonic 2. Maybe it's just a lack of boost pattern, like that. I hit the rainbow ring, and then I was grinding really slowly, and then I jumped there, and I also started grinding really slowly, and... Okay, I'm not complaining about that, I still made it. But there we go. Grey Emerald Act 1. Again, what would a grey fruit be? In some games it's white, in some games it's grey. Although I think Sonic 1 actually had a pink emerald. But Sonic 1 also only had 6 emeralds. But regardless, I do not know what you would call this. A grey fruit. I guess it would just have to be the rotten emerald. Because I can't think of any grey fruits. Look. This looks familiar. It's that section of Scrap Brain Zone that I always try to avoid, but I never succeed in doing so. Oh my god. What are you hammering back there? Yeah, we even got flamethrowers. Actually, have we had flamethrowers at any other point in Sonic Colors? I can't think where about to say would have been. The only one that they would be appropriate in would be Planet Wisp. But I can't think of where they are there, or indeed any stage. I might just be misremembering. That was doubly close. And this is a section where we would have those pig robots that shoot those balls down at you. But since we don't have them, we instead have got to have these things, which are way faster and harder to avoid and are not constantly just bouncing around. Look. So you have these tokens. You can also come across these other Wisp capsules later on. I can't remember if I encounter any of this video or not. No, I think I do in the next act, actually. So we'll get more into them when we actually, well, get to them. A lot of these stages are not going to be getting very high scores. Because they don't give you that much. A lot of them don't even have wisps. Let alone how much you'd actually be using them. Alright, come on, baseball cap wearing Mario. There he is. So you come across these capsules that just have question marks in them. That one gave me 2 wisps. Adrenaline laser. That I completely missed both of. But this time, for the first one, decided to give me this giant Eggman head that chases you. I don't know if it just chases you forever or if it has a time limit. But unfortunately, I ended up letting go of the boost too early or something. And that just really got hurt. But it does seem to turn off whenever you get to a switch in the perspective. Or I guess, or I think if you like hit spring that sends you somewhere else. Why did I do that? I think more often than not it's the Eggman face. Why it's got a load of hearts and coming after you Amy style, I don't know. Why didn't they just, that'd be cool. Why didn't they just put Amy Rose in it? It'd be a bit weird that she's chasing after this Mario knockoff, but besides that... You're also always blue. I think the player 2 will always be red, but you're also always blue whenever you do the Wisp powers. Even though I'm using the yellow drill. but an actual large drilling section that requires me to make proper use of my whisk. Why does that look like an arrow telling me to go in the opposite direction? Oh, these sections are always fun. You can stop every single time you hit the crate. That was exciting! Thankfully, laser is much better. I'm like, no, because I know what it's going to be. And I'm not doing it. And we have our Rossen Emerald. And I mean, it's rotten. Like, this thing has got mold on it and everything. It's you just leave it out in the sun and it starts sprouting little white hairs. And that's onions. That's not even a vegetable. That is a vegetable. It's totally a vegetable. That's not even a fruit. More like an ogre. But anyway, that is part 1 of Gameland. I will see you guys next time for part 2.